Welcome back to On the Light, a podcast dedicated to illuminating the profound teachings and legacy of Yogacharya BKS Iyengar. I'm your host, Susan Johnson. In this episode, I am joined by Gulnaaz Dashti, a dynamic and seasoned Iyengar yoga teacher at the Ramamani Iyengar Memorial Yoga Institute in Pune. Gulnaaz Dashti's immersion into the world of yoga began in 1990. She was encouraged to come to the institute by her brother Ali. On that day, Gulnaaz embarked on a path that would shape her life in profound ways. Here, Gulnaaz explains how Guruji was able to teach to the caliber of each student in front of him, and how Geetaji helped her in a motherly way to understand her father's teachings. Additionally, Gulnaaz shares some tender memories of Guruji outside the practice hall. Please enjoy Gulnaaz Dashti on this episode of On the Light. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm here
Thank you
with
so much.
Gulnaaz Dashti.
Thank you.
For coming to the On the Light podcast. Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm so excited because I'm so excited to talk to you because I know that your family had a particular relationship with the Iyengars, and I'm just curious, before we dive in too much, just to get some context, what that relationship was.
Right. Guruji had relationship with every student in a different way. Everybody has been touched by his gestures, his expression, his heart, his generosity, his help, his teaching in every way. So it's not only me, first of all. And of course, it has all started with my brother at a very young age, that he was to be maybe around very young age, teenager. He was into martial arts, taekwondo. And of course, his master, his friend circle, they all gradually found Guruji. So that's how they also, they invited him also to do a class of yoga, which he said, of course, I'm a teenager. Yoga means just closing the eyes. That's not for me. So being a martial art and being a strong practitioner of that martial art taekwondo. So yoga was those days, as well now also, people have misconception. You sit, you close the eyes, and you're enlightened. So I think that was not the concept. But then eventually they insisted, and he went, because they really spoke so much about Guruji, that how dynamic he is. What is he doing? He's not that guru that he'll make you sit in a corner and close the eyes. So when he was introduced and saw Guruji, that's it. So it was like, either you love him or you don't love him. That's how it was. And of course, with this kind of students, when he knew he's a guru. So he knew, looking at him, that he has to be taught in a different way or challenged in a different way, I would be. So the moment he took him under his wings, his teaching, his dynamic positions, his approach was so dynamic that even martial art became quite weak in front of him. So he has more of his stories to tell about, but that's how he started. And of course, following him one by one, we all siblings, there are 5 of them, we all followed my brother Ali. So that's how he started. And of course, being a guru, guiding him, taking him under his wings, sharing all his knowledge, challenging him in every aspect, that it's not just the closing the eyes, what you're doing. Through the physical asanas, how you have to get to the spiritual part, that was the way of Guruji's teaching. And of course, we had the motherly figure also, that is Geetaji, Guruji's daughter. So she was more supportive also. And from my experience, the way, because I was young, and the way I was introduced was so, fearful, or, so much, what I would say the right word, that you thought that I cannot stand in front of Guruji. I have nothing to give. Like, how am I going to have that energy, or how am I going to perform, or I'm going to, be able to do anything in front of him, or understand what his explanation are there, or his expectations are there. So for us to be able to understand, at least for me, and between my brother, myself, Guruji, and Geetaji. So Geetaji was the mediator who would explain and simplify so much for every student, so we would be able to understand Guruji. or to be able at least to stand in front of him, because his energy was so huge, so strong. To be able to bear and stand in front of him, it would be very difficult. So suddenly the motherly figure came in front of the picture. So she would simplify, modify, make us prepared, so that when he used to teach in the class, something would make sense to us, something small bit, not everything. So that's how the generation started. They started from there, one by one years.
So what year did you come to the Institute?
I came, Ali had come before, of course, I think 83, 84, as a young teenager, he had come. I followed him by 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so was Geetaji also teaching?
Yes,
So she was very much teaching at that.
Both of them together. Yeah. That's why, no doubt. He was all the time there teaching. Geetaji was there all the time teaching. And still, before that, Guruji was so strongly teaching with all those intensives. We have this intensive US or groups used to come. So we used to wonder what he's teaching them, and we can't understand anything. We used to hear, but nothing would be understood, because as I said, Geetaji would modify and simplify so many things for us as locals to make us understand. So suddenly to hear such complicated words, what he's trying to say in this asanas was very difficult. But that happens only with practice. And then once you understand your practice, then these words will make sense, which of course now Guruji's son, Prashant Guru, he's telling us, guiding us. And all those memories comes back that, wow, what is still I couldn't understand those days. Now it's more clear. Like, it's getting clearer and clearer with his teaching, that what he was trying to tell us, and so many things you don't grasp. It's you. Everything cannot be grasped so fast, or the perception, so it takes time. So how the lineage or the legacy is going on, and the teaching is coming better and better, the teaching is getting clear for us students. Yes. Gradually. So it's not that, those days I would think, I understood this asana. Now something else is there or to look into. The perception is all different now.
Yes. So do you feel like, just because you touched on Prashantji's teaching, which is, I'm so grateful for, and it's just amazing. Well, how he is able to explain.
So that means you should have that much background of practice from that part, because now if as a newcomer is coming, they will not understand what he's trying to talk about. He's teaching more than 40 years. So you can imagine that the 40 years of knowledge, how ripe, how subtle, how deep it is for our students practice to have that background to be able to understand that what he's conveying the message. Yes, it's not that I'm telling you, Suzanne, I have 2 years experience. I'm going to Prashant's class. I'm going to Geetaji's class. What can I understand?
Right.
Yes, it is physical, no doubt. That's the whole conception. It is definitely the legacy starts with that physical aspect of the body to get gradual to the core of the body. That, as you call it, the spiritual part. Then gradually it will
understand. So you started by telling us how he had special relationships with all of the students.
Everybody. He has special relationship with everybody. He knew. Okay. Like, I remember why I said this, because when I started gradually getting the interest of following the classes and trying to figure out what is happening with this asana, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? All those things. In the hall, when the senior teachers would come, like from abroad, my own brother, others, his words, his way of conveying the message with teaching was something very deep and subtle with them. And suddenly you would see me sitting in a corner doing nothing. Okay, get up and do something. So his teaching to me was something else. His words teaching what to them was something. So he knew what is the caliber of that student. Who is going to know what? You understand? It's not that, no, I'm Ali's sister, I'm this one, I'm what is your caliber of your maturity to understand? So words would differ in that. Because I would just stand there and look and hear. I don't want to know what they're doing or what they're understanding, what he's saying philosophically, spiritually, the depth of the words, the details of the entire body. But and his eyes would see that I'm blank. Okay, this girl has to do something else. Go and do something else. So that something else will gradually bring me to that level to understand what he was trying to explain.
And he was able to see that for everybody. That's what's so.
Not everybody, no doubt. It's not. I'm giving my example.
Right.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
I have experienced that because obviously, because I'm honest, as I said, I'm just standing there, not knowing what these words they are talking about, what is talking about the sutras, getting the sutras connected with the asanas, and what they are talking, they are understanding. I don't know. I couldn't figure out anything. But how he would know that, okay, this girl still needs time. Yes, after 10 years, after 15 years, Prashant's words would make sense to me. I would make understand, okay, what Guruji is trying to say. Then my teaching started. Then I would figure out, oh, this is connected with this. Geetaji would link something as, okay, this is going with this. So gradual process, I could gradually absorb and try to get something, what this yoga world is about. It's not only the physical part, as we are known for it.
How did you see Guruji handle that or deal with that with people, especially the people who came from the West? How was his approach with them maybe different than what it was with the local people?
Different, definitely. Why? Because all those students who came from abroad, they were already teachers. So the one who could come and stand in front of him, they were already teachers for so many years. That means he has already taught them over the years. They would come for a month. So for me, maybe on the younger side, I would say that, why his approach is different. The way he's explaining, I can't understand anything. That's what I related to you just now. Because they're already teachers. They have some years of experience and in their practice, in their knowledge, in the whole procedure. And the locals also, if they were teachers, of course, they would understand and grasp anything. Like a naive student coming, standing over there and trying to show that, oh, I'm also understanding. So his approach of teaching also would differ with that because they were already teachers. So he would explain with depth and a lot of knowledge and explanation he would give. I remember one class, there were too many students and we have two halls. One down is the big hall for all the advanced classes and the upstairs is for the beginners, intermediate. And those we had only beginners. We had no intermediate also. So the class was suddenly full and I didn't know, how to arrange them because there were more than 50 people, 50 students. And then I just went downstairs. I met Pandu sir, is one of the part of the yoga family with Guruji, Geetaji. He was the chairman. He's always there. Of course, he's retired. So he said, okay, the hall is empty. Those days, there were not so many classes as now. So he took me down. He said, go down because there's no place. Go, the hall is empty. Now, I didn't feel in that chaos of bringing everybody down in the main hall, and Guruji was teaching in that. Not teaching, sorry, he was practicing in that very quietly. He used to stay in his beautiful postures for ages. So, and I'm hustling and bustling and bringing everybody down. I started teaching. Suddenly I hear a voice. So he used to call me Gul, not Nas. He would always give me a short name, Gul. And then I started sweating, I said, okay, now where is he first of all? The class was huge. I made everybody sit and I saw him in that. And then he started because he knew it is a beginner's class. I'm trying my best to figure out with the crowd and figure out what am I teaching. And it was a special ladies class, everything. So then he started guiding me in his own way. Okay, this posture, that posture, what we have to do. So I would go to and fro, and that's how it started. So that was the first encounter of directly that he is guiding me in absolutely beginner's class and teaching. So that was an experience itself for me. So that's how the approach of his teaching. It's not that he's going to explain me what the philosophy is and what he was teaching with those Westerners who are coming with an experience of our teaching. And here, as a I would say beginner or anything, I'm trying to teach a huge class, which they are also beginner. I'm also beginner. So how he took care of me, it was really beautiful. So by how the hours went away, I never realized it. It was a beautiful. So that was an experience I had with him.
I bet that must have been really special.
It was very special. So I can remember. So vivid. You can never forget that.
Did you start to get over the nervousness at some point? And just
by that time he started guiding me, the nervousness went absolutely, suddenly because he knew I'm I was nervous. I didn't know why, what happened. How am I going to teach in front of him? That's how he built up my courage. So by the time the words were flowing out, he was just guiding me, just like a child. I was jumping up and down, going up, showing this, that, whatever I had to do. And then after class, again, he gave me a few minutes. He spoke to me. You should always do this as a special class, ladies class. You should be more comfortable with them. A lot of other points he guided me. It was a beautiful session. It was a Friday. It was a 4 o'clock. And later there was Geetaji's class. It was an advanced class. I had to stay the whole night. I remember they also at that time also.
Do you have any memories of Guruji, like some fun memories that you
Yes.
sort of have tucked away?
Lots of memories like that, I would say. But the most common memories, me, my younger brother Murtuza, also he's a teacher, he's teaching, and our colleague, our association with Pandu sir, he's the chairman of the institute. So towards the end of the May, the academically year would start. Other colleagues also us together. So we would help, administrative, we would help with the office work those days, long time back. So then by evening, when you used to get hungry a little bit here and there, so we used to grab food, outside food. Outside means what? The Indian fast food, which is on the roadside. We pick up things and we come and eat. So once he caught us, and we are hiding something in back room in Pantu sir's room, and we are eating. And he sensed. He came inside and he said, "What you all are doing?" And we said, "Sir, Guruji, we are eating. We are eating that, whatever the food was." He said, "Even I want to eat." I said, "Sir, but this is the roadside food. We can't eat." "No, I will eat." You're greedy. You're not sharing with me. So no, Guruji, we will share, but it's not a very sophisticated food, nice food inside. It's a fast food. It's roadside food. And he took a bite. He took it, and he enjoyed with us, and we really had good time. And that's why he would shout. We just sneak in, make fun, and we would crack jokes, But in the class, he was outside. He was like a child. So we would enjoy small food or any jokes or anything. In the house also, he would invite us for coffee or something with the teachers. As a teachers group, and we used to sit together for food or any function, any program. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely a childlike heart he had. And used to have spent time together. So these are the small thing memories we used to have. Or I would get some cake or something. He would always sneak and try to share with us and have fun.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. But we can't think, Guruji can eat this kind of food. Really love.
Any other memories from class or?
Class, there are many memories. I can, it's a never ending story kind of a thing. Whatever memories of my years I've had. That's why it's a kind of a family relationship, because that was my world. My house was next door. We would go in and out. I got so much involved in practicing and understanding the subject. Guruji, Geetaji, Prashantji, they all three supported me in every way to be able to understand and to be able to teach and convey the message. In whatever small ways, they have always supported me. And being a single mother, they have been like a family to me, no doubt. So that I can never forget, always, even till date also. Even now when Prashantji is always supportive, Abhijata, everybody is a family member. They're always, not only me, they definitely take care of everybody, every colleague, every student over there. If they come to know, then they need help or anything. In any gestures, the generosity is there. That is also a legacy part of it.
Yeah.
It's not only teaching or what people have portrayed as only the physical aspect of the class. Behind, they are beautiful people.
I just want to quickly share, I had a memory from when I was in Pune in 2009, and Guruji was practicing in the hall during class, and Abhijata was teaching for Geetaji. Geetaji was
Yes.
Correct. And so Guruji stepped in with Abhi at that time and sort of guided her along the class. And that was, for me as a student, a very special experience.
Oh, he was. It was not only with Abhi, just because she's a granddaughter. That's why I said the day the first encounter of my teaching with Guruji, that's how it was. He stepped in because he realized, first of all, I was juggling with the crowd and trying to figure out how to teach them. So he would step in and very beautifully, he would just like a child would take your hand and would guide you through the whole practice. And that's how we all have been guided, right? So it's so beautiful. So how he guides with his points, looking at the caliber, looking at the practice, what he or she can understand, that's how he would guide.
One thing that sort of has been on my mind as a novice teacher, I had a student come recently and they were brand new to Iyengar Yoga. They had done some other things and they were, talking at the end of the class, talking about how, oh yeah, she really got my chest to lift and, and I feel really good at the end of the class. And can you speak a little bit on how that physical aspect of yoga brings about such a change in the...
Definitely. That's why he was the same. Physical aspects and sense for us, or as a Iyengar community or the legacy, what we are carrying us, is about the practical part of. See, I mean, in some other interview, somebody had spoken about, he has this practical part first, and then he goes to the philosophical part. If you look at his structure of his books, what he has written about the physical part, which is the light on yoga. Now, light on yoga is so physical if you look at it, and if you go under the neat, it is so spiritual. And then he gave us the book of pranayama, light on pranayama. That means the physical practical part we have worked till we reach the breath. And then he has given us the sutras, the philosophy part. So the practical part takes care of everything in that. He doesn't have to talk about it. The gesture, the way, the whole way of practice, weekly, daily, monthly, that itself bringing a change in the entire body system and the psychology part of it, both. So that's why you feel the changes. It's not only physical. You don't go to a gym and you feel, oh, it's something different. Yes, gym has its own effects. But through this physical part of practice, what you and me are doing, the entire mind changes. That's why they feel good. That's why when you walk out of the class, you have a smile on your face. You feel happy about it. Yes, no matter what pain, aches, physical pain, this and pain. But still, there's a little change that uplifts you and you walk out of the class happily. That's the difference about it. And that's why they feel good. So this whole practical part takes care of everything. The way he has guided us to practice itself, or the way he has guided us to convey the message or teach like that itself is the same anywhere part of the world you go. That cannot change.
And Prashanthi, in his teaching, he really takes it to another level almost.
Because now you and me, when we are talking about Prashantji, that means our journey to a certain level has gone through this all practical part of our practice. So this philosophy part, the sutras, the challenges, the inner depths of our practice has to surface in that level. Yes, that's why you and me, or a certain experience of teachers who come or there, they can understand. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Which for me is still time. Every time I look at it, still something is missing. It's still like a puzzle. Okay, I still have to practice to find out what he meant by this sentence. Like, So it has to come with the practice. So you can't forget the practice and think that, okay, he's talking like that.
Prashanthi has a very special way of sort of, in my experience, creating a kind of confusion, but then sort of wrapping it up all together.
All together. Because now you and me, when we stand in front of him, he will assume, and of course, it's an advanced class. That means you have this background of that much practice. So he will it's like you have this practice behind you, some experience of your maturity. So there's words of this confusion, what you feel, it has to make the entire physical and psychological part of the spiritual part to get together. Like through the physical, through the mental, you have to reach the spiritual part. So these words will make sense to us, the entire embodiment, what he talks about. And then the gesture of breath when he's talking about can be so deep.
And sometimes it's really hard to get.
It is hard. That's what I said. So the practice matters. The background of our practice matters to understand him.
He said once in one of the interviews that he has sort of the privilege or luxury, I can't remember exactly the word he used, but Guruji built sort of the groundwork, and
Yes.
he said now I'm able to stand on his shoulders.
Correct. That's right. That's right. Because Guruji had to work from the ground level, at the scratch from that, to build up us, to build up the whole understanding of this subject. What does it mean to reach every common person in a right way, right from the alignment, right from the whatever he has spoken about. So now the groundwork is done. That's why when we come in front of him, at least some groundwork is done to be able to understand what he's trying to actually show us. But if I'm naive, I've just come for a couple of classes and I'll go to his class. Obviously, I'm. So what a practice, what a groundwork I need to be able to stand in front of him. And just one class or two class is not enough. You should be persistently under his guidance. So each day it will make sense to you. And I think COVID was a blessing in disguise that everybody could approach him, That was really a blessing in disguise, I would say, how he could touch everybody.
Just for all of us here to be able to get the teachings.
That's right. That's right. It was a really, I would, that's why I call it a blessing in disguise. This whole thing happened, but we could be with him.
If you could give us teachers some advice in the West, especially, because we don't have so much experience with Guruji himself, but we have these students who are coming who don't really know of BKS Iyengar. They want to try the Iyengar method. They heard it's, this or that, whatever. And how do we keep his legacy in the forefront with our teachings?
Very challenging question also. Because now, how we are going to, as they said, to keep his teaching, to keep his legacy, just like him. Of course, we can't be like him. First of all, we have to accept that. Yes, Guru was Guru.
Yeah.
But whatever little bit, the way he has written and guided us how to practice, that itself is a big guidance. That itself is a torch, is the light on yoga, what he has given us through his book. So that can never go wrong. And the way the syllabus has been moduled, that also cannot go wrong. Yes, but definitely we can't be him. That we have to accept. So we can't carry his dynamic or expression or his way of teaching. We can't be him. Some people try to copy that. Unfortunately, it cannot go.
Yeah.
If he was shouting at us as a guru, he knew why. As I gave an example, he knew what he's talking to those senior teachers in explanation, and he knew what he was telling me. He was a guru. He knew that I'm standing there. I can't understand a word. It's the same language. I can't understand a word. What in sense? How to understand the subject of that, what he was talking about. So he knew why he was angry in the class. He knew why he was shouting. As a guru, he could see so many things which you and me could not see, and would take it, oh, he's shouting at me. He's so harsh with me. He's so dynamic in the class. I can't keep the speed. I can't do anything like that. That is you and me. That's why, and some unfortunate teachers that try to copy when you see the movies or something like that, or clips here and there. But it was him. He knew what he was saying. He knew why he was angry with me. He knew why he was telling me to do this and that. So looking at the module and the structure of syllabus, what he has given, if you study that properly and carry that legacy in a right way, that itself should be keeping the light on yoga of Guruji going on. Rather than trying to show what his expression was there in the class. That is me. Yeah. I understand. I don't know if I'm clear with my words or not.
No, I think I completely understand. We shouldn't try to teach like him. We can never be him. But
you can, what I have understood, I will convey the message in my way. Can't copy his nature and his way of teaching. That is not going to happen.
But I guess my question is more around like, how do we convey how special he was?
He is. That we have to share. Yes. No doubt. There is no doubt that as a guru, there are many gurus in the world, but he was special. He outstood the entire guru, entire yoga world, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The way he approached yoga, the way he got yoga to the entire world, he outstood the entire yoga. He showed entirely different and so accurately, so scientifically, so precisely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So to keep that legacy, to convey the message, we have to really, again, I would again, as Geetaji and Guruji, Prashant would say, practice. First, practice, understand a little bit, then try to convey the message. Not just looking, because of this media, we have so much of, what you say, accessible things ready just to copy and, what this world of technology has, got copy and give away. That copy and giving away is not going to help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have to really practice, understand what these words were, what these gestures were, what these expressions were there. Once I've understood a little bit more clarity over there, then the conveying of the message will be connected to that needs. That's what I feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Guruji has this quote that reads this: when the alignment, time, and precision in practice are bridged, the seeker transforms himself as a seer. Can you speak at all on what Guruji meant by the alignment there and why timing and precision are important?
But that's another signature of his teaching, first of all, because we started with alignment. That's why I mentioned Guruji outstood the entire yoga world, because the first he understood about his practice to the subject was alignment. So alignment, we understand the figure, the structure of the position, of the asanas, of the body, physical and internal. So it's not a physical posture you're looking for and the internal body is crooked. That is also not. So there's something very deep he's been teaching us. And I understood quite late through on my journey. And then we have time. When we have, in short, I'm trying to explain, because you'll have an experience again here. So with your alignment of your postures, of your understanding through your asanas, time stops. You're not going to stay in a wrong position thinking it is correct. So it's very tricky. You can't be standing crookedly thinking, okay, I'm right in this position, and you're looking at time for 5 minutes, you're going to stay there. How would you know that you are correct in that position? Then only I can keep a timing, so I can deeper go inside and go work to the internal work. That is a antaram. Then the precision starts. So there's a seer will happen that, yes, am I first aligned? Am I correct in that position? If I'm correct in that position, then the time comes and the precision will happen definitely looking at all both. So timing has to be correct. Precision also has to come through the alignment. So these three words have to be together. And that's why he says, then the seer. Because usually we are in our own imagination. I can imagine anything, right or wrong. So imagination is good, but it should be correct. Yes, I may be standing in my Trikonasana thinking, oh, I'm the best, which I always do, which every student thinks is the best once we are in Trikonasana. Yes, then you realize, okay, somewhere I'm here, there, in, out. So the structure matters, which will show the alignment, peripheral body. Yes, if the peripheral structure is good, okay, then I can take a chance of staying. Time comes. Then the journey of the internal will start. What exactly I have to do? Okay, in that time, what are you going to do in that time? Are you going to dream about? Or are you going to, what are you going to do? So the work of the internal precision will start that what I have to do more inside that asana. And that's why when you say you also have experienced, or of course you have witnessed, I would say that Guruji was practicing in a corner. Usually every student have seen witnessed that Guruji was staying in those asanas for time. Yes, not for you and me. I will stay maybe a minute, maybe half a minute. That's the end of my stamina. He would stay in the asanas for a time. That's why I would say, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 50 minutes, that much. So what was he was looking at the time, do we think? Or he's looking at the precision of the work or within the body, what the transformation is happening. So his year started over there, that he was within the asanas. And that's why then after that ages, we would stay and then would come down. And of course, then we would call the experienced teachers and students over there. Okay, now when you do this, what happens? When you do this, what happens there? Yes, these clues would come, these details would come. In that asana, if you do this of this muscle or tissue, what would get a reaction over there? What would happen there? So that's how his knowledge would come out. And he would definitely be the first one to share. He was not a guru that, okay, he enjoyed, he was enlightened in his asana, and he was not going to come and share with us. Everything what he learned in his body and his spiritual experience, he was the most generous guru to come and share with everybody who is in front of him. He wouldn't care. As I said, even absolutely a person who has just come to look at the institute would stand and hear. But that hearing and the experienced student hearing, yes, so these things change, these things level. But he didn't say, oh, he is not in the class, he's not from this level, you are from level 2, you are a beginner, go out of me, don't stand and hear me, don't look at me, I'm practicing. Never, never as a guru. Everybody was welcome to see, to hear, to experience. Yes, your caliber will come to understand, that's a different thing. But he never shunned anybody else. I think that is my personal experience I could share about this, what you said, alignment, time, and precision. And that's what he was practicing.
And how about with his teaching of pranayama?
So good. Brilliant, I would say.
I never had that experience. Well, I was never directly taught from him.
Yeah. So that's what Prashant said. He has put the groundwork so deep. If you have done that experience with Guruji's pranayama, and of course Geetaji's pranayama, then what he's telling us now will make some sense.
Yeah.
No doubt. That's a different experience. It's beautiful. I mean, you should just have experience. That's all I can say. Something as a food also, unless you don't taste, you don't know, no matter what you write about that food. Yeah, but eventually you have to taste that, isn't it? I think that will give the answer. Just elaborating, I think it will not be justified.
Can you share any memories that you have with Geetaji?
Many. Yeah. As I said, she was a motherly figure to us. She has really put so much of effort for every individual person. And as I said, for me again, she was overprotective, she was careful with us, she was teaching us in every way. I don't know what to share with them.
What was she like outside of the practice hall? When you did, I would assume that you also shared food, some meals.
Yes. Wow. Yes. Lovely. Just like a normal, you, me, as a friend, as a colleague, how we share experiences like that. Though we used to be always, okay, she's a guru, should we talk like that? But she would just crack on some nonsense joke and you would start laughing and she would break the ice, okay, now you feel free, talk. And with me, of course, personally, I would always share my, my family issues if I had, my kids' drama in the school, my kids doing this, then the school, then the college, then the work, all the dramas she knew, So after class, she would say, okay, what happened? I would forget, what I had told her. She said, what happened? The things solved away. I said, okay, yes. So she would remember. I would just naturally just talk about this girl has done this, boy is not doing this, as a motherly, you talk. She would always remember. And she would definitely call me back and ask, what happened? Did the problem sorted out? Did they go here? Did the work is done? The small things. She would always remind me. And that's how she would always be very supportive.
Yeah. That does sound very motherly.
Very much. That's why I said was a real motherly figure. And for me personally, yes, definitely. She knew everything about me. She knew how to guide me. Any help I needed, she was always there, even Prashantji.
Can you share anything about the medical classes? How were those conducted, and in terms of I never experienced that either, so
You have to experience that.
I know. Are the medical classes still going on?
Has very much beautifully, really, Abhijata has really taken well, in the hand, and with Sunita ji, Geetaji's sister, they are really doing a brilliant job over there, taking care of everything, keeping the legacy of this therapy session, how they take care of individual person with whatever the problems, issues, disease, whatever they are suffering. And it's very difficult to put in words the amount of I would call it a social work they are doing for the humanity. It's really beautiful. And Geetaji, Guruji, personally, they would be always there with individual person to make sure, okay, this girl is taken care of. This asana is adjusted in way. This asana, and every touch was different. That's why we would call, when we used to adjust somebody, and then from that corner, Guruji, something is wrong. They would come and do some adjustment, and we call it, okay, golden touch, done, over. Here I'm killing myself, putting this here, putting that prop here, and I couldn't figure out. Still, that person was looking grumpy. But the moment they would come and adjust, all good. So what they could see, how they would, the sensitivity of that touch, we would call it golden touch, how they would adjust that, then immediately that person would feel that the relief, whatever pain or agony or they were there. And the transformation, when you, as I just said, would walk out of the class so happily, each person, each individual, different problem, different diseases, they would touch personally.
It's incredible.
Incredible. That was beyond the words of incredible. My English is what I'm out of vocabularies anymore.
Yeah.
So that was that. I'll share just before we end. I'll just share one encounter of my first medical where I really officially they caught me. I'm supposed to help.
Okay.
And then I was jumping around trying to figure out what to do, help, not help, who's asking, give me this, give me that. Suddenly in that corner, one shout came, give me that weight. Who's calling me? I was Guruji's voice. Give me that big, there was a weight in that corner. And then he took my name again, Gul, get the weight. And I went near the weight was, I think, more than 40, 50 pounds, a big, huge, massive. And I'm looking at it. And the class was massively crowded. Every inch there was somebody lying down in some position, some asana. And he's in that corner. And this massive weight is here. Now, my question is that I was very thin and weak. I just started ages ago. Now, how to pick up this, first of all, and how to walk through this crowd to reach them. And what to call somebody's hand. So I'm evaluating everything. And he is getting angry in that corner. I need the weight because he's holding a patient or whatever he was doing with that. The only person who came to my rescue was my Geetaji. And she came, go eat food like your brother Ali. Okay. He just picked up the weight she picked up and walked to her father. And she that was a relief to me. So that's how in the class, no matter how angry, they would say a word, to make you feel light. And they knew because the brother, sister, he has a different experience. I'm just a naive over there, standing what to do with this weight, first of all, how to travel there. So she came to my rescue eventually, picked up the weight. She went to her father. The job was done or whatever. Namaste, still trying to hide.
She knew exactly what was going through your mind.
Just enter the car. I don't know what is happening. And I was evaluating. I couldn't pick up. I tried to pick up the weight, but I couldn't. Because there's a knack of lifting and you should have the strength of it. And I was evaluating, how am I going to walk so fast to him? He used to be very fast. Even at the age of 18, 19, 96, 95, he used to walk very fast through the class. And I didn't know. You get the idea that, yes, you have to be efficient, you have to be fast, you can't waste time. Somebody is suffering, you need to help that person. I was just stuck over there thinking how to lift the weight up and how to go there. That was my first encounter of my medical class, where again Geetaji helped me.
Your very first one. Wow. It's a good memory.
Many memories, but that's the first encounter I'll never forget. That
yes.
She could understand, she couldn't come and tell me, oh, pick up because she realized that she's fragile over there. She doesn't know how to pick up the weight. It's huge for her. So she rescued me. And then that Guruji also understood. So I remember since then, when I used to help him in that class, those massive weights, he would not lift me to pick up. then he would divide the weights. And once it happened, I had to help him in some position, I think what position, Shavasana or something, and nobody was around. So then he just told me the smaller weights. I gave him 6 of them, each at a different part and putting. And especially the middle one, 4 or 5, I don't know, whatever number. And then he told me, he remembered. That's a beautiful memory. You know why I asked you for so many weights? I said, no, Guruji, I said, I don't know. So because you cannot pick up the bigger one. That's why I asked you to bring so many small weights. Yes, you have to become strong. So how after a couple of years, I'm not talking that today happened and tomorrow he remembered. Didn't know how. Right? So after a couple of years, he linked that and he reminded me, you couldn't pick up that big weight. That's why I gave you small weights to bring for me, so you can pick up.
So he had quite a sense of humor as well, huh?
So how to make these moments, no matter how fast they want, how the perfection they need, they're upset, they're angry, shouting, but suddenly one gesture will resolve everything.
I know in his early life, there were some hardships in terms of his health. And he overcame a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly, I mean, the struggle, the practical part, as a real human, strong human to overcome all these challenges through his life and achieve what he had, what he got in this entire world is beyond incredible.
As you were able to see sort of the arc of his life from the time you knew him until his passing on, what were some of the biggest changes that you noticed in terms of the way he practiced? Could you see that?
Yes, I could see a lot of changes, no doubt. And one change I shared with Geetaji, because as I said, again, Mother I could tell her something rather than there's a chance of asking anything, Guruji. Because in one class, I was teaching and he was guiding me. And he was quite on the soft side. And he would take care of me. He would be upset with me, but also he knew how to, to take care of me. Gently, he guided me. And somehow, and Geetaji was lying down, she wasn't well. So I was taking the class, just like the experience with Abhijata's class. I completed the class. And of course, I guided Guruji and he left the class for his lunch. He went downstairs. And then Geetaji called me. She said, you know what? I said, yes, Geetaji. My father has transformed and mellowed so much with age that you could escape this class so nicely. And you can imagine my heart was still pumping so hard because the class was so intense and the way he was guiding me and I had to teach. So still I've not overcome that. And she's telling me she was so mellow and gentle with you that you could do the class. I said, still I could hear my heartbeat that he has not even gone downstairs yet. What a mellow, what a transformation. She had seen the dynamicity of his father in teaching aspect, in whatever, you all have heard about the stories, everybody had that. And the transformation of being more softer, gentler in his approach towards the teachers or the colleagues, the way the patience he had, to really put himself to that humility to come to the beginner's level and teach us that level. That transformation was what I felt. Because when Geeta just said this, I started noticing that. That what did she mean by this? For me, it was very hard, a very strong class. How to, with his guidance, and you can imagine the strength, the stamina, he still was very strong. So what he meant, that strength 50 years back, and what she's seeing today. So this gentleness, this softness, perhaps that transformation much more. And then gradually, after some years, my personal experience, because these words were there from Geetaji to my ears, I started noticing that the transformation of gentleness and the affectionate with the grandfather and the granddaughter, that is Abhijata.
Yeah.
So I could see that change, how beautifully, he would take care of. So then I said what she said, Geetaji said, I said, yes, that was different.
I guess it just maybe for a final question, I'd like to ask, we already touched on, how we can convey the man that he was to our students, to the world. How can we preserve the memory without like watering down the subject matter? I guess that's one thing that I worry about is over the years, what will Iyengar yoga be? I know it's a big question.
Big question, no doubt. And I think, again, I will stick to Guruji's guidelines. The way he has moduled the structure and the system, we will stick to it. That I'm very strong, good feeling I have. And the way I see how beautifully Abhijata is taking care of the entire whole empire is so beautiful. She's taking good care of everybody, bringing up the new teachers, taking care of everybody in the institute. It's brilliant. So far, till I am alive, this should be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because she is there, I can see her working so hard, so diligently. So it's beautiful. That much I can say.
Yes, we're lucky to have her, definitely.
Yes, we are lucky to have.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you so much.
So much, Gulnaaz. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to On the Light. Stay with us as we continue to unfold the life's work of BKS Iyengar and the auspicious subject of yoga. Today, I leave you with this quote from Mr. Iyengar. It is through your body that you realize you are a spark of divinity. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, shine bright.